literally today I'm gonna do a proper skincare routine. My vitamin C is kind of oxidized. This is how the henna turned out, by the way. So nice. I'm glad that it developed to be a darkish stain. It's not the darkest, but it's fine. I think it's been a while since I've practiced henna. When I use brown henna, I'm gonna do thicker border designs so it shows up a little bit better on my skin. Like I've always said, this is my favorite moisturizer to use. I guess it's kind of like a luxury moisturizer to me, so this is why I use it at events and important things like that. The rest of the skincare routine, you already know how this is gonna go. We've got the Curel on. I want to make sure I've got a really good base. Grad ball was a good experiment and I think I had a good base that day. The only thing I'll change is I would go more matte because I will eventually get that glow throughout the day. So I'd rather start off really matte and that way I have to do less touch up. Usually I go in with Tocobo, but because we're going to be outside for a lot of the day, I think I'm just going to go in with the heavy duty Ultraist. I'm going to put 2 streaks on my face and go in with that all over. So let's go in with a makeup routine again, and this time I'm going to talk to you about, where did I stop? Was it my 3rd year of uni? Yeah. So let's talk about 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th year of uni. More heavy duty today, making sure that I'm getting my under eyes right in my T-zone area right there. I'm making sure I'm just putting it where the most of the makeup sits on my face. Of course I had to start my day off with some gospel. I could not have done this without God on my side. Y'all, if you don't know my full name, get to know. My full name is Oluwabalumi, which means God with me, which is the equivalent to the meaning of the name Emmanuel. So it's the Yoruba version of the name Emmanuel. God is actually just that guy, but I don't know if I'll ever go into like full depth and the full story of what medical school was like for me. A lot of my friends know, you know, parts of the story, things like that, and every single time we get through each year they're always like, Mimi, wow. The fact that we're finishing medical school is very much wow. So only thing that I want to say is just a massive thank you to God, and then thank you to my family, my friends who stuck by my side, thank you to the faculty. Let's go into 3rd/4th year. That was the year that we increased our frequency in the hospital. 3rd year was really interesting to me because it was one of the toughest years and also one of the years that I don't remember the most, interestingly enough. I was living in Wolfson House at the time. I made some good friends in my flat, but I also had some terrible experiences in that flat which I will not be discussing in this video, and it was a learning curve. It was also when I think I learned how to take MCQ exams and I realized they're hard. Like, they're just really hard. The only thing I'm gonna do today is fill in my eyebrows teensy bit more just because of the studio pics. I'm just gonna elongate my brows a little bit. And you know what, like, this is actually what we used to do. Why did we start? But I'm just gonna try to make it a little bit natural. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Let's carry on. Then we go into Oskies. That was also the year that we had some really interesting experiences with Oskies. I have this one picture from the end of final year Oskies. I don't actually remember if they were mock Oskies, and if there's any tips that I can give for year 3, I would say start preparing finals in year 3. The reason why I say that is I'm not telling you to start like revising ham, but what I am saying is revise with the intention of passing finals. I feel like that if someone had told me that, I would have played the long game instead of playing like the short game, essentially. Finals sneaks up on you. At King's we do our finals in January of our final year. You literally have like a few months of that final year to like start final year stuff and revise. Mind you, at that same time you've got all the portfolio deadlines. We had an essay to give in as well. That's also around the time of the UK FPO deadlines for your job allocations and things like that. So there's a lot going on at that time. Just listen and listen well. Think wisely. We're gonna blend, and I want this to be a good base, guys. A good base. I don't think I'm gonna do anything too crazy on the eyes. No, just a cheeky little bronzer with a nice supple soft base. face. I say supple and soft, and I've like doused my face in foundation, but you need to put the makeup on. Let's move on to year 4. And that's also when we decided on our lines for year 4 and 5. I like the way King's does it because it truly replicated what the UK FPO like job allocation system is like. We got randomly generated, and this was before they came up with the random generation, mind you, so King's was ahead of the curve. We got randomly generated a ballot number, and we had to rank the jobs exactly the same as I had to do for my current job at the moment, and you got your jobs based on, you know, what your number was. Unfortunately for me, I had a really rubbish number in that stage, but this time I had a very lucky number. I literally got like my top choices for everything basically, which I'm very grateful for. That's about my job, not about year 4 and year 5. In year 4 and year 5 I had like my 11th choice out of 20, I think it was, and luckily for me, one of my friends is like 11th choice was my 3rd choice, and my 11th choice was like one of their higher choices, so it worked out that we could swap, and we ended up swapping. And what that meant was I was off to Swindon. I really wanted to take a year out in my 4th year because I was tired of paying rent. It was getting really expensive, and doing a continuity placement in Swindon meant that I had hospital placement and I didn't pay rent for the whole year. The only time I paid rent was when I came back to London to do my mental health placement, and I subletted a place in New Cross for that, which was year 4 was also a learning curve, but it was also when I started to decide the kind of doctor that I wanted to be. I realized that I would be out of medical school so quick in the blink of an eye, and I decided to take charge of my education. Before that, I was quite timid in seminars, workshops, classes, you name it. I would keep quiet, you know, they'd ask for volunteers and I'd often be the last person, or I'd always want to buddy up with someone on placement. I never was like confident enough to go to placement on my own. Obviously there are feelings of like imposter syndrome that we have to explore there. The fact that I'm generally an introvert before I warm up to people, and this degree has like completely changed my, maybe not completely changed, but it's changed a lot of my psyche and a lot of my approach to how I do things compared to when I was 16. This could also just be a part of growing up and maturing, so I wouldn't say I could distill it down to one thing in particular. So let's see, what else are we talking about? Year 4, Swindon. That's when I generally decided to become a doctor, and I thought to myself, I'm going to be the doctor that I see, and on the wards, the people that I'm shadowing, I need to, how do I get from where I am to there now? And that's when I decided to take charge. I started putting my hands up first for literally everything. I could get all of my friends on here to tell you, the new friends I made in Swindon, they know a completely different side of me than the friends that I have been through medical school with, because they're like, I just can't believe you not being extroverted or being confident, and I'm like, I'm glad that's the case. My mum's calling. I really want to finish talking about the different years of medical school while I get ready, because I don't know when else I'll be able to talk about them. I could do a whole separate video just talking about them in detail. I did it at the start of medical school and then I stopped. I missed 1 year and then I stopped, and I was like, I never went back to doing that, which is kind of upsetting. So I would say if you can do a peripheral placement, do it. If you can go to Swindon, go. Swindon is one of the best quality placements I've had. I would say Swindon is basically like one of the highlights of medical school for me. The fact that I didn't have to worry about rent, all I had to worry about was medical school, was an absolute blessing, because coming from a working class background, that is something that I did not have the luxury of. Obviously I still had to worry about working to a certain extent for my own living expenses and things like that. Swindon, we had loads of simulated teachings. It was, honestly, I will always preach Swindon down, like always. I'm always saying Swindon on top. Let's see, my makeup is coming together okay. I think, what do I want to do? I'm gonna set my face and then I'm gonna do my lashes. What do we think? Are we supple, soft? Let's just put on some more makeup. It's really hard trying to toe the line between wearing like not a lot of makeup and wearing enough that it doesn't wear off during the day. I don't want to look crazy, but at the same time, like, I just kind of want to look very snap. Yeah, I feel like that's helped. I feel like I just needed some bronzer. Also, if you want to be in any societies, do it in your 4th year, don't do it in final year. I would say one of my biggest regrets was not being in a society, but being a president of a society. You do it in your 4th year, you have way more time. It feels like you don't have time, but compared to final year, you have way more time in your 4th year than you do in your final year. And that's one of my biggest regrets, was not taking up the mantle of president of Health Humanities Society and running for president when I was in 4th year, because I would have been able to put in so much more into it. There were other things that were outside of my, remit. The society ran. For one, my committee, they were all busy. They didn't communicate with me. I was basically talking to air in the group chat, apart from one person who was always on it, and she's going to be president now, and one other person who was like kind of there and kind of not. So I wasn't dealt the best of cards, and I think I tried my hardest to meet everyone at each of their points. I scheduled individual meetings, I troubleshooted, I tried to get different people in, and at a certain point I just said, you know what, it seems like this is above me now. It's definitely above me at this point. So if you want to be a president, do that in your 4th year. I would recommend that instead. Also, if you haven't already, start a study group. If you haven't already started a study group, I want to say it's never too late, which it truly is never too late to start a study group. Honestly, you should have one by 3rd year, I feel. And I know people always say this, but it's so good to have a group of people to study with. I know you might be an introvert, I know you might not be confident enough to let people see you fail or get things wrong, but would you rather let people see you fail now, or would you want to fail your patient in the future? I'm hoping you chose the former. That's the kind of way you have to think about it. So definitely, guys, start your study group, or join one, or find someone, force your flatmates to study with you. I don't know, do something like that. What else did I do in 4th year? Have fun. It's literally one of the last years where you can have. I know so many people who up and went on holiday. You kind of can. That's all I'm going to say on that. I didn't do that, but you can. I know people who did, and they're graduating with me now. So wising up, that's all I'm gonna say. By the time you get to final year, you just say final year. You don't really say 5th year or 6th. It gets too confusing. People are like, did you intercalate? No, your EMDP. Okay, what year is that? So everyone just says final year. You're in final year. Final year was so much fun. We were both 4th years and final years when we started at King's, because you go straight into 5th year. You have maybe a week-ish of a break, a week to 2 weeks of a break. Not really much of a break, to be honest, after that much studying, but you take what you can get. That's the reason why I haven't celebrated my birthday in 2 or 3 years now. Year 5 I was back in London, but then all of my friends seemed to be outside of London. They were in Eastbourne, Margate, they were all in Kent basically, and that was fine. I also had my GP block in year 5, which was amazing, can I just say. GP has been one of my favourite rotations. I would say my favourites would be my women's health in Swindon, GP in year 2, and GP in year 5. I also liked my emergency medicine and critical care block at Swindon. That's when I realised that I really did enjoy anaesthetics as well. Surprise, surprise. Mental health was also a good placement, but I feel like I enjoyed more of my mental health outside of placement, which is interesting. I enjoyed the research sides of mental health and the extracurriculars that I did. Anywho, year 5, I made some new friends. I was also finally going on placement with a different group of friends that I've been on placement with, which was so much fun. My friends from Swindon, I was able to be friends with their friends now. We just had this weird feeling of like, we were in this limbo period where we hadn't passed our year 4 exams yet, which year 4 exams determine if you get into final year. And we were just, cosplaying as final year students. And I think there's some part of it that is terrifying, because you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I made it. I think it's better to look at it as I've made it until they tell me that I haven't made it. I think that's one of the better ways to look at it. Otherwise, you're literally just torturing yourself for no reason. You're just torturing yourself for no reason. If you don't make it, you can study, make it. It's fine. You get reset attempts, so that's fine. I truly loved it. I was able to, you know, get the confidence that I built up in Swindon, in feeling almost like in a vacuum, or like being in a bubble, and trying to translate it into now this London hospital where I'm around different people. And I just wanted to make sure that it was definitely a part of me and my personality, and not just a product of the safe environment that I was in at Swindon. And I definitely did that. Then we went home for our GP block, which I genuinely enjoyed. I made friends with another student who was from Anglia Ruskin. I just had a really good time. My GP was so lovely. He was a Nigerian man. He was so incredibly lovely, supportive. He definitely helped me build up my confidence more, and I was seeing my own patients. I was formulating their plans. I wasn't prescribing, but I was giving my prescription plan. So it was really good, especially for OSCE practice. It was an invaluable placement for me, to be honest. And being at home was really good as well. Letting my mum see what it was like attending medical school, because I've been away from home literally years at that point. I then had to move back to London for the rest of my hospital placements and start revising for finals. And that is where things kind of got very hard for me in final year. All the deadlines that I mentioned, and then trying to find a place to live at the same time and struggling to afford all of that is incredibly difficult. And then not being able to find time to study at the end of a long placement day, that is incredibly difficult. Having to commute from home every day, that's incredibly difficult. And I'm just grateful I did it. I ended up doing it, you know, ended up finding this flat and what have you. If you want to start properly revising for finals, I would say start from the start of final year, so that's around June time. Just start from there, slow and easy. When you get to October, November, pick it up, you'll be fine. Don't be like me. I didn't properly start until December. I started a little bit, but that October to like November period was incredibly difficult for me and kind of set me up a little bit. Let's do the rest of my makeup. We put on the lashes. I feel like these ones turned out a little bit different. Granted, they all fell out a few days ago, but I tried to reconstruct them. I don't know. It looks one eye looks definitely different than the other. So I don't know if I want to fix that or if I want to just charge it. Yeah, one eye definitely looks different. I don't know what to do, guys. I think I'll just leave it like so. I'm gonna leave it as is. There's no time to try to change things around. Carrying on with the rest of my tips, or the rest of my reflections, should I say. Like when I'm living. So in love, I'll give it all away. Just don't tell nobody tomorrow. So tonight, I'll do it every way, because I can tell. Hi friends, I'm whispering because I'm in the library. I had an idea to get my pictures taken in the library, so we're in here. The lighting is so much better on video, but I'll show you guys some of the pictures I took. And I'm all pictured out, and we haven't even started the day yet. I'm waiting for my mum and my sister to come, and then we're gonna go get our studio pics. We'll have the whole year group pictures, and then everyone else's pictures, and then the grad, and hopefully like I'm all pictured out because this has just been like a massive photo shoot. I'm really happy. This is I wake up, I see you. What's the outfit? As you live, I feel it, I see as you live. When we kiss, I wonder where you're far away. Be back here, no, be unsure. big band cares. No job on road. Baby, ceiling. Yeah, doctor. Ẹ wo irin yìí tẹ́ ṣe.
Bó ṣe rẹwà.
Àbí?
Bó ṣe rẹwà. Arẹwà dókítà. Dókítà arẹwà.
Dókítà arẹwà. Pẹ̀lú mọ́mí ẹ̀wà tó mi.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni o, lórí o. Èmi ló ṣe yí fún. Èmi ló ṣe yí fún.
Ṣé o mọ̀ pé mo máa láti fi subtitles lórí fídíò yìí?
How do you do? That's the way you say in a better place. You cannot complain.
Amazing! Are you sure? 2, 1.
Who are you?
A talking drummer. Let me not sprain my ankle.
Don't shubu. That'd be embarrassing because you're a doctor that won't be able to fix herself.
No, actually be so peak because I haven't even walked across the stage yet.
Yeah, same. And then you don't forget you still have to wear heels on spring. Yeah, because you're not wearing flats on that stage, mate.
Anywho, guys, we are on our way to Southwark Cathedral. Generally, I don't know the actual way to get there, so we're gonna find out. It's either you go through the market, but I think there's a way that we can get there without going through the market. I'm with my sister. My mom and uncle are somewhere in the back.
Did I consent to that?
Does it matter?
My beautiful friends graduated university. Can you imagine? Wow!
Real pleasure to welcome you here for this very special day. This cathedral has been here for nearly 1,000 years and has seen many things.
In these wonderful settings. And this is a rare fortune and a rare opportunity. And I think you, the graduating class of today, are caught right between a remarkable history and an amazing future. Many people do not know. If you look up the standard textbooks about London that say which was the oldest hospital of London, you'll actually see they'll say 1126, the Bars. Actually not. You are sitting in the oldest hospital of London. The Southwark Cathedral came here in 700. In 1106, right next to this building was established the very first hospital. You know, called a hospital, those things weren't called hospitals, and those
Awarded the Associateship of King's College, Oluwa, Ilume, Oladoni, Anike, Adige. Awarded the Associateship of King's College, Oluwa, Ilume, Oladoni, Anike, Adige. Awarded the distinction, Aisha Alfaro.
No, we do look alike. Well, no one else is guessing anything.
And just say yes.
So, the rules of the game, we're going to repeat the changes. We're just going to talk.